And we are live. Good afternoon. It is a wonderful Tuesday afternoon in Toronto, and this is Toronto Stevie live with the Raw Report. How are you doing, everybody? How was your day? Did you watch Monday Night Raw yesterday? Um, if you did, let me know what you think and like and subscribe to my channel. I'm doing what I can, covering Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and any other shows that I get a chance to report on and putting them on my YouTube channel. And I appreciate anybody who comes in and watches. But Monday Night Raw came to you from the O2 Arena in London, England. Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Um, we get the Then Now Forever and a video hyping up the King of the Ring tournaments. We get pre-show arrivals, the women's tag team champions, including Paige from England, the Street Profits, Io Sky, the Usos, and right away the show begins with a face-to-face. Obafemi, dressed in street clothes, comes out. The London crowd is really into Obafemi. They give him a huge ovation, um, and the announcers are promoting the King of the Ring tournament finals. It all goes down this Saturday night, um, and it's in WWE Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. It will be streaming at 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon. If you want to watch it live, I don't know if I'll be able to get a chance to, because this Saturday is my birthday. This Saturday, I am turning 60 years of age, if you can believe it, and I've got the birth certificate to prove it. I'm turning 60, so I probably won't be able to watch Night of Champions live, but I'll watch it later on. I might report on it because I know Nasty Neil doesn't watch the Saudi Arabia shows. Obafemi says to the London crowd, "You guys are wonderful here in London tonight, and as much as he'd love to for them to chant his name all night, um, um, he basically says he's here to." Uh, he asks them to settle down. He says since he's been born, he's been backed by destiny. Destiny's been very kind to him. It's led him to the WWE. It's allowed him to slay the beast Brock Lesnar. And it's brought him all the way to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And he says Destiny will be on his side this weekend at Night of Champions, taking him to new heights, making him the King of the Ring. The crowd is really over. So far, WWE has done a fantastic job of getting Obafemi over as a mainstream, big, huge star. And once again, I'll say this once again, I am pleading for WWE. You've done a fantastic job with Obafemi. Please, please, please don't fuck this up. Um, and crown Jey Uso the King of the Ring. It would be a huge mistake to do that. Jey Uso doesn't need it. Um, Obviously, you've had other kings. It was quite obvious putting the crown on him or whatever, making him the king. It's an obvious choice. And um, I certainly wouldn't want to see Brock Lesnar travel all the way to Saudi Arabia just to screw Obafemi out of the King of the Ring tournament final. That would, again, I think that would be a huge mistake and a waste of Brock Lesnar. Bottom line, you've got to put the win, give the win to Oba. It's obvious, and believe me, when I'm watching this is the same thing I'll be thinking. And who do we got here, Mr. Chobo? How are you doing, buddy? And he says Raw was awesome. Anthony, wait until my final, and we'll see if I agree with you. But nonetheless, um, Obafemi says he's going to become the king of the ring, and this brings out main event Jey Uso. He comes out and he does the whole yeet thing with his hands, and the crowd is, he even rolls it back and does it again. And this time it's just a face to face. There's no fighting. There's just Jay says, they counted him out. They counted him out when he was in the Royal Rumble, and he won the Royal Rumble. They counted him out when he won the World Heavyweight title. And when it comes to the King of the Ring, thinking that he can't win it, that they're just going to count him out. He says that he's going to beat Obafemi. He's going to silence the haters, shock the world. He's going to climb the mountain, use all those cliches. And then he says when he becomes the king of the ring, he's going to go to SummerSlam and challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE title. So that's exactly what, those are the marching orders from Roman Reigns. Like I said, it would be a huge mistake to do this. Like I said, it's quite obvious who should win, but I certainly hope WWE doesn't sort of go against what is obvious and basically fuck it up. So Obafemi gives Jey Uso a piece of advice. He says, if you shoot, you better not miss. But even if you do, I will destroy you. So he says, but you are not the family member I'm worried about. So you can take your stupid bullet, give it to your cousin, courtesy of Obafemi. And basically, this is how the segment ends. Like I said, there is no fisticuffs between the two. They're both baby faces. And we get a replay of Jacob Fatu beating up this comedian, Eric Andre. And then we go backstage. General Manager Adam Pearce is confronted by LA Knight. LA Knight still complaining about the bloodline. He says, what, does the bloodline have compromising photos of you because they're getting away with everything? And Jimmy Uso actually confronts LA Knight, and he's pissed off that last week on Raw, LA Knight hit him with a steel chair. And Adam Pearce tries to calm both of these guys down by basically making a match for later tonight. It'll be Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight. So elsewhere backstage, you have the women's tag team champions, Brie Bella and Paige, coming to the ring. Then coming back from the commercial break, a woman named Jackie is interviewing Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. And they basically have another opportunity to win the tag team titles. So immediately, they go right to the ring. And it's for the women's tag team championships, Brie Bella and Paige defending the tag team titles against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Considering this was in Paige's hometown, did you really think that there would be a title change? Definitely not. Actually, this was a pretty good women's match. Since coming back. Now, I think Paige has done a pretty good job since she came back to the WWE. You had Paige even hitting some of her moves, the Paige Turner. You had Lyra trying to counter with the Nightwing, but Brie Bella broke it up. You had Lyra trying to do the was Lyra hitting the wrecking ball drop kick, Paige and Lyra trading pinfalls. But finally, I think Lyra went for the Fisherman's Buster, but Paige quickly came back with the Rampage, pinned Lyra Valkyria 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. So the women's tag team champions still Brie Bella and Paige. But what the story of this match was what happened immediately after the victory. Brie Bella and Paige immediately took a powder. leaving Bailey and Lyra Valkyria in the ring. And it was Lyra who was really sad and depressed and looked like she was on the verge of crying while lying on the ring. And um, at this point, I could smell a heel turn from 1,000 miles away. But what confused me was I wasn't quite sure who was turning heel, because it was Bailey who was kind of acting like she was the one who was going to attack Lyra. You know how when someone's lying on the mat and, the tag team partner comes into the ring, helps their partner to their feet, and then as soon as they help their partner to their feet, they just slug them and beat the crap out of them. We've seen that multiple times from tag teams that break up. But actually, when Bailey helped Lyra to her feet, I thought she was turning heel on Lyra. But then I thought, well, that is kind of what you expect is going to happen. And it came out of the blue for me when it was Lyra Valkyria attacking Bailey and basically beating the crap out of her and leaving her laying and stomping out of the ring, a full-fledged heel. And then afterwards, I thought, well, yeah, that's probably the right move to make, because it's really Lyra Valkyria that needs the fresh coat of paint, take her in a new direction. I mean, Bailey has already turned heel once before, so this time it's Lyra's turn. So we'll see. Probably by Bailey and Lyra will probably face off multiple times in the next couple of months. So coming back from the commercial break, a woman named Jackie tries to interview Lyra, but Lyra just walks off. Elsewhere, backstage, you have Chad Gable walking around, and actually he comes out to the ring. He has a microphone and he cuts a promo, and he says, I didn't just lose my mask, I lost my self-respect, my reputation, my dignity, and my friends. He says that Rey Mysterio reminded him it's never too late to right some wrongs. And so Gable basically says, I want to invite some friends. I want to invite a few people into the ring to do just that. And he asks for Maxxine Dupri, Akira Tozawa, and Otis to come to the ring. So they all make their way to the ring, and Chad Gable, he's very apologetic, very emotional. He thanks them for coming out. He says, you guys don't need to give me the time of day, but you did. From the day that Maxxine joined the Alpha Academy, he says, your potential was clear. You did something even I wasn't able to do, which was to win a singles championship. And he says, the way that I treated you was pathetic and embarrassing, and that's on me. That's my fault. And he looks at Tozawa. He says, you have the heart of a lion. That's the size of a giant. He tells Tozawa, I tried to smother him and hold you down. That was pathetic and embarrassing. You didn't deserve it, and that's on me. And then the crowd picks up on Otis, and Chad Gable looks at Otis and calls him by far your most loyal friend that any human being could have. He says that, Otis, you would have taken a bullet for me and jumped in front of a moving car for me. He's getting all emotional, saying they've been friends for 20 years, that he missed him. He says that they were at the Olympic Training Center. They were tag team champions. And he is very emotional with Otis. And but he threw it all away. Gable says he threw it all away because he wanted to win a singles championship. He wanted the Intercontinental title more than he wanted Otis's friendship. And he basically tells the Alpha Academy, you don't owe me a thing, but I owe you something. And he basically looks at everybody and says, I'm sorry. So this was a very emotional promo from Chad Gable. And he basically wants to know whether or not they're going to accept his apology. And Maxxine is the one who actually grabs the microphone, and she is the one who speaks on behalf of the Alpha Academy. She says, I know that Tozawa and Otis want to forgive you. They have the biggest hearts and they want to give you a second chance, but I don't. And Maxxine Dupri reminds Chad Gable how um, he made her beg not to hurt Tozawa, or when he was going to whip Otis. She remembers that as well. She remembers how they left him high and dry, when he was chasing down his dreams. So she cut this really, you know, almost like a heel type promo on Chad Gable. She's been doing these backstage segments where she's been spotted with Austin Theory. So, if she does, in fact, is the one that turns heel on this and goes off with Austin Theory, well, that would certainly be a good mid-card feud for Chad Gable to have going forward. But anyway, the Alpha Academy basically leaves the ring, and presumably they don't accept Chad Gable's apology. So backstage, there is Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, and they announce that Dragon Lee will take on All Ego Ethan Page. Coming back from the commercial break, they have this match. I said this before last week, and I've said this on In Your Head Wrestling Radio, that All Ego Ethan Page from Hamilton, Ontario, really is not setting the WWE on fire. I think WWE has dropped the ball on this guy, but really you got to give Page some responsibility as well. He hasn't really set the world on fire since coming to the WWE. He was probably better suited to be one of those NXT guys who stays there for the majority of his career. He's a bigger fish in a smaller pond, but coming up to the WWE, he's just another mid-card guy. Nonetheless, I think this went through at least one commercial break with Dragon Lee flying around the ring, but Ethan Page hits his finish. He hits a suplex, or an egoplex as they call it, to beat Dragon Lee. There was no Rusev. I believe there was no Rusev on this show, who had been working with Page as well. So we go backstage to the Vision's locker room. A woman named Jackie doing all the work tonight. She's interviewing Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, and I think Austin Theory is the one who does the talking. She says that Braun Breaker will destroy Seth Rollins in a steel cage on Saturday, and that the Street Profits, they're going to beat the Street Profits tonight. So coming back from the commercial break, we get a video of Sol Ruka, and then we get another face-to-face. This is the Queen of the Ring finals. They basically do the same thing midway through the show that they did with the men. Now they do it with the women. It's Jackie Redmond is in the ring. She brings out Io Sky, and then Liv Morgan comes out with her belt, and they basically have a face-to-face as well. And I think there was some physicality in this briefly, but Io Sky quickly got Liv Morgan out of the ring, and she was standing tall at the end of it. We go backstage. The Usos are with Jacob Fatu. Jey Uso was asking Jacob Fatu where he been all night, and why were you on SmackDown talking to Solo Sikoa? But Jacob Fatu basically says he was giving a message to Solo Sikoa, and Solo got the message. So, coming back from the commercial break, they hype up the Saturday night's main event that's going to happen in Madison Square Garden on July the 18th. So next month, there will be a Saturday night's main event to watch. There was another backstage segment with Danhausen. There was some sort of stupid segment. This was really a waste of time for JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. But the long and short of it is that Danhausen took $100,000 of their money and they want it back. Danhausen says he spent it on some sort of experiment. When JD tries to get the experiment, he gets electrocuted. So they immediately go to the ring. It's LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. This goes through a commercial break. And as they're fighting in the ring, Solo Sikoa appears at ringside. And you think for a minute there that Solo is just going to he's going to attack LA Knight, because I believe he's attacked LA Knight in the past. So behind the referee's back, Solo Sikoa jumps. He comes in. He actually came in through the crowd. He distracted LA Knight. You thought LA Knight was going to have to fight off Solo. But instead, when the referee turned his back, Solo Sikoa hits Jimmy Uso with a Samoan spike. LA Knight at first doesn't know what to do. But eventually he hits the blunt force trauma on Jimmy Uso and pins him 1, 2, 3. So the winner of the match is LA Knight. And so it looks like, I'm pretty certain what this is probably going to lead to is some sort of confrontation on SmackDown between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Maybe even Jey Uso will show up on SmackDown. We'll see if he does as well. So a woman named Jackie is backstage with the Street Profits ahead of the tag team title match, has a quick interview. We go to the Vision's locker room, and they're preparing. Coming back from the commercial break, a woman named Jackie tries to interview Bayley, but Bayley just ignores her. The Judgment Day, there's a quick segment of the Judgment Day as well. There's an interview, a video of Corey Graves interviewing Seth Rollins ahead of the cage match on Saturday. And he says when he beats Braun Breaker, he's going to put the Vision behind him. I think we've heard this promo before. Coming back from the commercial break, Adam Pearce is talking to Chad Gable when they're confronted by Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough. JD wants to go to medical, but everybody is ignoring him. Chad Gable challenges Dominic Mysterio to a match, but Dominic volunteers JD instead for next week on Raw. So they hype that next week, Monday Night Raw will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to get another sort of early evening Raw. I don't know if I'll be able to watch it live, but I'll get a chance to watch it sometime on Monday or Tuesday. So the main event of the show is for the WWE World Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits challenging the champions, Austin Theory and Braun Breaker. Logan Paul is at ringside, and so you do have a lot of fast-paced wrestling at first, flips and all of that. Braun Breaker using all of his patented moves, taking out the Street Profits. The Street Profits were able to hit their blockbuster Doomsday Device combination. They went for a pinfall on Austin Theory, but Logan Paul put Austin Theory's foot on the ropes to break up the pinfall. The referee saw this, and he ejects Logan Paul from ringside. So Logan Paul was forced to leave. Um, the Street Profits put Austin Theory in the electric chair move, but Braun Breaker breaks this up, and Braun Breaker does smash one of the Street Profits with his commentary table clothesline. And then when we come back, I'm glad that somebody picked this up. While this main event is going on, a CM Punk chant was started by the London crowd, and I don't know whether it was just because they were bored by the main event or whether something else was happening. Not really quite sure, but nonetheless, it was very audible while we were watching the main event. So, getting back to the match, so eventually, Austin Theory and Braun Breaker did one of the signature Steiner Brothers moves, the Bulldog Doomsday Device, and they went for a pinfall on Montez Ford, but Angelo Dawkins broke that up and prevented the pinfall. So eventually, Logan Paul comes in from the other side of the arena, and he tries to slip the brass knuckles to Austin Theory. That's when Joe Hendry made say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry made his appearance, and he basically ran off Logan Paul. And when Austin Theory went to get the brass knuckles, that's when Seth Rollins appeared out of nowhere, and he basically he clocked Austin Theory with the brass knuckles, and Austin Theory goes down, and this allowed Montez Ford to hit his huge frog splash, followed by the pinfall. Winners and new World Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. So we had a big title change on the London episode of Monday Night Raw as the show goes off the air. Once again, they took the tag team titles off of the Vision. Probably the right move to make, considering all the injuries that the Vision had been undergoing recently. And it returns Braun Breaker to the singles division. And Austin Theory, like I said, let him have a feud with Chad Gable. That's probably a better use of him. And Braun Breaker, like I said, the steel cage match this Saturday at Night of Champions. So as far as that goes, I did want to look at that because it is this Saturday. I'm just going to take a look at the card. I think they have the potential matches. Here we go. So, in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, it's Obafemi versus Jey Uso. I've said this multiple times. I think Obafemi should win this match. And I absolutely do not think Jey Uso should win. Give the crown to Obafemi. In the Queen of the Ring tournament final, it's Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, who is already the Raw champion, wants to win the match so that she can challenge Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship on SmackDown. I'm fine with Liv Morgan winning this match and going on to SmackDown. I think that's probably the way they're going. We also have Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker in the steel cage. Seth Rollins has already defeated Braun Breaker in one match, so WWE booking is the other guy. This is the other guy, a chance for him to win. I'm fine with Braun Breaker defeating Seth Rollins in the cage. I'm sure they'll come up with some way to figure this out. But I'll say give the win to Braun Breaker in the steel cage. We have on the SmackDown side, Trick Williams defending the U.S. title against Ricky Saints. Obviously, Trick Williams is going to retain the title. And we have some wrestling news on Trick Williams. It's been posted on, I think it was Anthony Chopo himself who posted this on the In Your Head Wrestling Facebook page, that Trick Williams recently married Lash Legend in Jamaica. So congratulations to the happy couple. Trick Williams and Lash Legend are now married. Also on this card is a triple threat match for the undisputed title. The champion Cody Rhodes defends the title against Gunther and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match. Cody is the golden boy, so I'm going to say that Cody retains the title. I really can't see Gunther getting the belt. The novelty of this would be Sami Zayn finally getting the title. That would certainly be creative booking. That would be a something out of the box if Sami Zayn were to win the match. But my guess is that Cody Rhodes is going to retain the title. And the final match for the United States women's U.S. title, the champion Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Let's give the belt to Jade. I think Jade is going to take this, and there will be at least one title change, one guaranteed title change on this card. It'll be Jade Cargill winning the women's United States title. So we'll see how that goes and whether or not my predictions come true or not. We'll find out next week. So that was Monday Night Raw. Anthony said that he thought Monday Night Raw was awesome. Yeah, once again, like a little too much talking. I can understand why they would do it. This is the Raw Go Home show to the Night of Champions. So you'd have a lot of talking segments. And you know how much I dislike the talking segments, especially when there are too much of them. And that's kind of how I felt with this show. So I will give a begrudging thumbs up. Maybe not quite completely up, just slightly up. Yeah, it's about a little bit like that. A good show. Could have been better, but that's Monday Night Raw. Still have one more show on SmackDown before they have the show on Saturday. So I'll probably do a SmackDown. Maybe I could do a combination because it's on Saturday of SmackDown and Night of Champions. We'll see how that goes later on this week. But nonetheless, this Saturday, Night of Champions is also my birthday. I'm turning 60 years of age. So probably the next time I see you, I will be 1 year older. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Like and subscribe to my channel. And I am out of here. Goodbye, everybody.